All right. I'm going to go ahead and get this recording started, folks, and we're going to start this call. So hang on.
Recording in progress.
Okay, everybody, welcome. Again, this is Mark Ross, co-founder of Sosana, and I've got Brian Lyles with me, and we are just here to kind of give you some updates, talk a little shop, and I'm not expecting like a really long call tonight. We know this is the end of what we consider a pivotal week. We want to get the airdrops done, and I'll tell you, it's been a lot of work. It really has. The deadline, as you guys know, was 9 p.m. Eastern Monday night, okay? A lot of people didn't make the deadline, but David still has been accepting requests. It's not like he's going to be like, oh, you know, you're not going to get your tokens. Everybody's going to get their tokens. But we had a deadline because we really wanted to get everybody in and get it done. We have to verify these things, folks. And so for everybody that entered in for the airdrop from you know, version 1, I had to comb through every wallet, with the exception of a few, because I just knew some of the people. I was like, oh, I know them. I mean, I know what they've got and everything. But I had to comb through a lot of wallets today, a lot of tedious work. And Dave, of course, did a lot of tedious work. He put everybody into a file, and I was able to go in and review it. We have the final numbers from what we've received so far. That doesn't mean somebody isn't going to send in another email to say, hey, I didn't know. And they're going to send in an email. We have given a little bit of a grace period. And the goal now, of course, is to get those numbers over to Kapil, get it set up, and get this airdrop started, okay? Which we hope is tomorrow. That's the goal. Give or take 24 hours. Just give us that opportunity, folks, because we're trying to get it done. Listen, everything we do, we try to get it done as soon as possible. But it just doesn't work that way, right? Thorns and thistles. Chalk it up. You want to do anything great, it ain't going to come easy. It's just the way it goes. But it's happening. And we're committed as we possibly can be, and we're going to make sure it gets done. And we wanted to create what we call the air drip, because it's 30 days. It eases people's minds of realizing it's not just going to be a whole bunch of tokens going out, you know, into the community instantly. It's nice and dripped, 30 days, and it's going to get out there. This is just us trying to have integrity to do what we said we would do with those people that were part of version 1, making sure that they are getting back what they were promised, and we're going to fulfill that promise. And so it's going to happen, but it's going to go out the way we think it should. And just we're going to let you guys know when it's officially like started. It's going to be like, okay, boom, it's happening, and you guys will know. And now a lot of people are under the misconception that once we do that, that automatically means the liquidity pool is going to be locked. That's not the case, because remember, that's a completely different mechanism. Okay, it's not as if this has anything to do with the liquidity pool in a direct way, but what it is that we're then going to tackle the next job, and that is to get the scripts written and prepared for the liquidity pool in terms of how the taxes are processed. Okay, we're talking about conversions and distribution, and how it's going to work with the voting mechanism, you know, the stability wallet, all that stuff. All that has to come from a function inside the liquidity pool, which means that is when it's going to get locked. So it's going to get created, the script is created, tested, verified, and then boom, we lock that liquidity pool and everybody's happy. You know, that's kind of what that's the route. But that's the next thing to tackle. That doesn't mean that once this airdrop starts, because that's a big misconception that people have had is, oh, once the airdrop happens, then the liquidity pool gets locked. No, it's that the liquidity pool is then going to be locked. But what has to be done first, of course, is the writing of those scripts and the tax functionality. So this is just programmer stuff, folks. This is not your typical crypto. And let me tell you something, folks, and I get it. Believe me, this is in crypto, we've seen so many scams. That's one of the reasons we started Sosana. And everybody wants to have that safety and security and peace of mind. And we all do. Everybody does. But just know that you don't have to worry about it as much, being the fact that we're fully doxxed. I mean, we're right here out in the open talking to you guys. We aren't behind some curtain where it's like, who are these guys? They haven't locked their liquidity pool. What's going to happen? You know, it's not like that. You know, we're just going to work, and we're doing everything in the most transparent way that we know how to. And so we're just making sure that you guys get all that information. So that, as far as updates, is all I have for you. If you want any more updates, go back to Dave's announcement, which was in Telegram. It's in the pinned messages. and just look back on it because he put some timelines in there. It's the sprint to October 6th, which is really exciting because the goal is to be ready October 6th to start nominating, for people to start nominating their favorite projects on the Solana ecosystem, and for the voting to start happening within 2 weeks from that point. Okay. Again, that is our goal. We've got the sprint to October 6th, and that's exciting coming up. So that's basically it right there. Other than that, Brian, is there anything else we need to cover besides that?
Yeah, I would love it for, I mean, I just want to maybe talk about what people should be doing right now, how they should be getting ready for, you know, in advance, the momentum and et cetera, et cetera. I would love it. I think we have the professor on. Maybe if he could raise his hand, it'll bring him up to the top of the screen for us.
Are you out there, Professor?
Yeah, he's there. He's on.
He's always out there. There he is.
Maybe talk a little bit about, you know, as a leader with a team who is a regular communication with his team, you know, what are some of the things he's doing? You know, what are some of the things that he's prepping his team for? I mean, he's probably been, you know, through this stage before with different tokens, et cetera, et cetera. And I think the whole community could probably benefit from hearing some of the experience. And I'm losing my voice, and I do apologize.
That's all right, buddy. So I'm looking. I saw him, and then I went in there to unmute him. Let me see if he's here. You with us, Professor?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I am. I'm going to go ahead and let you share your camera as well. We hate not seeing you.
All right. So
Hold on a second, brother.
Okay.
Go ahead and share your video.
Okay.
If you
So
want
just
to.
yeah, I'm good. Just so you folks know, I've got a repairman here, so I'm kind of like in and out. All right. So Brian, I think I heard you as I was just coming back in. You wanted me to share what, sir?
You know, as a leader who I know has a team and communicates regularly with your team, and who has been through token projects before, like, what are you doing with your team right now to get them into the mindset and being prepared for in advance of momentum? You know what I mean? Like, at that stage right now, what should they all be doing? What are you telling them? How are you getting them ramped up with goals and things of that nature?
Oh, you know, obviously everyone should make sure that they're tuning into these Zooms. All right. So they're always staying updated. But a lot of folks, you know, like myself, that maybe have teams, they may be having team meetings. They might be doing presentations. You know, we're doing all of that. You know, we're doing presentations. We're having team Zooms. Just got off of a team Zoom. You know, but just before we came on here, because we don't want to wait. We don't want to wait until they say, okay, the affiliate side is open, because we only have 48 hours at that point. Mm-hmm. So we want to be getting out our referral links. I'll likely later on this evening drop a link in the Telegram for those that maybe have forgotten, you know, how do I go and get my link, and how do I get my link out? We had all of that with a link that walked you through the entire process, as well as walking your new folks through the entire process. Again, we'll put that link here in the Telegram. But this is the time to be talking. So I can tell you, Brian, what I've started doing this week, actually last week, now that we are past the launch, at least the fair launch part of it, you know, is sharing the grander vision. Here we are at 30 cents, 31, 32, 33, whatever it is. And if we get to $100, nobody can promise that. You know, that'd be a growth factor of like 300 times, which would, for me, be a greater growth factor than what I experienced with Bitcoin. And so just continuing to share the message, continuing to share the message. And so if you're not a content creator, if you're not one that does presentation Zooms or what have you, likely someone in your lineage is. Start tying into what they're doing, as well as the Sosana corporate calls. What we've been getting here at the corporate calls is vitally important. Mark, what you shared the other day about security, vitally important. You know, what project does that? I've never been a part of a project that from a corporate standpoint, they're saying, okay, tonight we want to protect you. We don't want you to get scammed. All right.
Yeah.
So the way I'm using the Sosana calls is to stay up to date, to be able to report back, because not everybody, makes all the calls or what have you. So if you're a leader, just make sure you are tied in. Make sure that you are consistently communicating with your community, and don't assume that everybody's getting on these calls. They aren't. Don't assume that everybody knows, especially if they're newbies, how not to get scammed. All right. Don't assume that. All right. So get this messaging out. Come to the Zooms. Uh, Take some notes. The ones that are recorded, get those recordings out to your folks, but let folks know where we are. We are at a place that at 30 some odd cents, I think this could be $100 or more. And if that's the case, that's over 300 times, 300 times potential. When do you want to find out? When it's at 50 cents, $5, $10? No, get in here now. So, Brian, that's what I'm doing, man. It's almost on a daily basis. There's emails going out or my own personal telegram going out, and a couple times a week we got Zooms talking about Sosana and videos going out, because we want people to be there at the beginning. There's a lot less walls. So if a person comes in at $99 one time and they get all the value, Brian, that you shared on last night, sure, if they come later on, they're paying a little bit more, and maybe you get a little bit more on the referral side. But if you really get Sosana, what you're trying to do is get as many people in front of Sosana as you possibly can, so they can get the membership as cheaply as they can, which then means they have more funds for purchasing Sosana, all right, and adding to their Sosana portfolio. So, folks, just be out there. And again, if you may have to go up the chain a little bit to find somebody in your leadership line that is active, but find that person and stick with them, and then be on these Sosana calls. Hopefully that helps a little bit. I hope.
Love it. Excellent. Absolutely. And that's another thing, I know a lot of people, and this is very typical and normal. I mean, I'm not even criticizing anybody for this, but you get to a place where you're waiting for things to happen. It's like, okay, well, let's kind of just hang back and kind of let things develop, right? Maybe you've gotten it's some of that uncertainty I talked about a few Zooms ago. And it's in the midst of that uncertainty that, in my opinion, is the greatest opportunity. Because when there's 100% certainty, that's going to be because we're already flying and killing it, right? To me, it's kind of like, okay, I'm not going to give you financial advice. I got to be careful here. The way I look at things, without giving you financial advice, is when I find an incredible opportunity, and I don't believe there's anything like Sosana out there, but when I see something that's in a situation like this, which is rare, you look at it and you don't want to think, well, let's wait until things totally develop and then I'll just go in, just head first. I'll just jump in and go. And I understand that feeling. I understand that uncertainty. I get it, because you just, in your mind, you're like, you just never know. You never know what's going to happen, what's going to develop. But folks, no risk, no reward. And this is one of those things. What are you risking now? I'm not saying go buy the token. That's not my point. You can buy a token, you can buy or sell the token, do whatever you want with it. My point is, if you're an affiliate, you shouldn't be hanging back and not telling people about this, because they can come in. First of all, they can come in and join you for free, and they can decide when they get on our Zooms if they want to buy the token or not. If they want to get in, if they want to front run all of our development, I think they're in the best possible position. If they want to wait until after everything's developed and everything's working and we're just a fine-oiled machine and everything's just flying, that's okay too. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that's not a great opportunity, because it will be. If I don't get into things where get in now or never. Of course not. I believe in this thing long term. I'm just trying to help encourage you guys to just keep showing up to the Zooms, keep bringing people in now, and keep educating people, because there's no better time like the present, and it's just, I just feel like that's the best opportunity you can get. But this is, again, we're so much more than a token. When you look at a project and it's in crypto, what you're always thinking is, how do I get that token at the cheapest price I can? How do I get to a goal where I can sell it and make a profit? But that's not the case here. I got to remind you guys again, and I've said this several times, and I'll keep saying it again. I will say this many, many times. Sosana is not just a token project. It's actually a way for you to potentially, not a guarantee, but potentially create wealth without the token. I mean, just $50 worth. And you could go in there and you can start growing your portfolio through the voting mechanism and reward that it offers. And then you can become an affiliate. Whether you want to refer people or not, you're going to want to be a part of the community hub, where you're going to get access to pre-launch projects that are KYC before they're even brought to our community. That's amazing. There's no better time to get into a project than before it launches, right? I mean, that's as good as it gets. If you can be there in the right place at the right time. Do you realize what we're going to try to do for you folks is we're going to try to do this over and over and over and over again, where you're at the right place at the right time. We hope. That's our goal. Our goal is to help these opportunities show up in crypto for you guys, in our affiliate and community hub, but also, of course, in the live Sosana voting reward mechanism, where you can nominate your favorite project, where we're going to show up with 25 projects. Okay. And out of those projects, you're going to decide which one you think is the most quality project. That's the goal, because it's like I always reiterate, why are we in crypto? We are here to find the most quality projects we can at the soonest possible time, right? And what Sosana is going to do in the process is fix the problem. Now, it's not a perfect fix, because there's no such thing as that. We know that there's going to be some bad projects that slip through. Of course there is, because nobody's perfect, but it's going to exponentially increase your chances of finding a quality project and giving you a chance to earn, not only add it to your portfolio in the voting process and be part of that community where we're in this, what I call a safe haven, where everybody comes together for one purpose, to find quality projects, and they do it by participating, right? But at the same time, even if you don't, or not just, like I said, not just have an opportunity to see who wins, but you can actually get rewarded for it, right? I mean, you guys are going to get airdropped the winning token from the DGen voter bonus pool. And that is going to spit out, in my opinion, some of the biggest rewards ever seen in crypto history. And it's going to impact the crypto industry like nothing ever seen. You guys are already, probably most of you at least, are sold on that. You totally get that. So now it's you have this feeling of like this waiting game. The chart, if you look at it, and I know you guys are looking at the chart all the time, and I try not to emphasize the chart. It's kind of like we said a few Zooms back. We try to get you to where you don't focus on the chart so much, because then you can kind of have that sense of emotion that your emotions kind of have a tendency to tie to the movement of the chart, right? Which is not good. But if you look at it though, and I know you guys have, especially if you go to the 4-hour chart, but you can even start to see it on the daily chart, that we are in kind of a phase of consolidation. We're bouncing back and forth from about 30 cents up to about 35 cents, maybe at its peak. There's this, range basically, where that just shows you that a lot of us in this community are just kind of waiting to see where things are going to do, where it's going to go, how it's going to develop. And again, it's just my opinion without giving you any financial advice or making any guarantees or income claims. My opinion is that in those moments is where the greatest opportunity is. It's where you can actually start planting seeds right now, rather than just hanging out and waiting. You could be talking to your friends about us. Let them come. Let them evaluate it. Don't make them say to you, man, why didn't you tell me about this thing when it was just kind of like 31 cents? Why didn't you tell me? Tell everybody. You're here. You're excited. Give other people a chance to be here and get excited. So that's just kind of what I wanted to share. Do you have anything else you want to add to that, Brian?
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. Thank you, man. I just want to say something because I think it's critical for everybody to understand where they are right now as being pioneers in Sosana is that, every single person that's on this webinar, this right now, and that's showing up every single day, 4 days a week, and in the private webinars that we're doing, you are in a position where you have an immense ability to move this project in the direction that you want it to move in. And I don't think people really get that. When you're dealing with a new project and you're dealing with what I call a young chart or an immature chart, right? Because it hasn't gotten to the stabilization feature where somebody could come in and buy $10,000 worth or sell $10,000 worth, and it really creates no impact at all. Maybe a blip, a penny in one direction or another, right? We're not there yet, right? Everything you're doing that you're due right now can have a big impact. So I know it's this tendency to feel like, oh, I'm just a part of this and I'm just waiting to see what occurs. But that is not the thought process that you should have. You really want to have, if you want to be a person who's going to be very successful here, you want to have a thought process of how can I make things happen? What can I do to make things happen? Who are the people that I can talk to, that I can influence, that I can get excited about this, that can get themselves in position, that I can show them that they're at the beginning of a growth curve. And this is when they want to get as many tokens as they can, because the more of that buy pressure that you're pushing in, the quicker we consolidate. Consolidating means the quicker we kind of get the people who are just trying to cash out some of their tokens out of the way, right? And we start getting to the people who really want to build this for the long term, and we start getting some real upward momentum. There's a thing that we say in this industry, which is that every night you should ask yourself the same exact question every single night. Just say, hey, if my entire team did what I did today, how are we doing? And if the answer is if you feel like you had an incredible day and you believe it, hey, if my whole team did what I did today, we're on our way, to riches, But if you had a crappy day, if my team did what I did today, where you're in trouble, then you need to think about how to make sure that you don't have the same answer tomorrow, and get up with a renewed fervor and go out there and do the things that you hope that your team is replicating, duplicating. And the final piece of that is, if the answer to that question is, well, I don't have a team, then you need to look in the mirror and ask yourself why. There is never going to be an easier scenario than what we have right now, which is the ability to enroll people for free. If you can't enroll people for free, you're never going to enroll anyone, guys. It's going to be real tough when it's free. So when it's not, if you can't do it when it's free. So right now is putting people in position. It's just like what the professor just said, just getting people in position, getting them stacked up, preparing yourself for the launch of the affiliate program, but really kind of getting as many people as possible to see this, to get this story, to get excited about it, so they can start sharing it, so you can have a viral build on your team, and you can really put yourself in a place to massively accumulate Sosana tokens. You're only going to get this opportunity once, man. I mean, don't, I hear so many sob stories and horror stories from people about, man, and it's not just Bitcoin, it's so many other tokens, where people are like, I have a friend who said he had a chance to buy BNB when it was under $1 or something like that. And he just he wasn't feeling it. He wasn't seeing it. Now I think it just went over $800 or $900, something crazy. There's so many stories out there of people who are like, I was there, I saw it, but I did not take action. And I wish I could go back in time. And you cannot go back in time. So you're just going to have regret over and over and over again, man. So so I'm telling you guys, put yourself in position. Don't sit around saying, I wonder what's going to happen when we're going to move it forward. Realize your personal power in this, and, go out and share it with people. And if enough people are doing that, everything else is taking care of itself. And as we start aping in later with the marketing dollars and everything, that's what's going to be more gasoline onto the fire. So my voice is about to
good, buddy.
Stop.
Yep, no worries, buddy. Okay, so let me just say real quick, because I see a comment from Colby Thomas. He says, talking about $100 when we're stuck at 29 cents to 35 cents will deter people because it seems as if we're just glorified pumpers. Okay, I'll just address that first. Just because we're talking, just keep this in mind, okay? Just because we're talking about the potential doesn't mean we're glorified pumpers. What we're trying to do is help people understand where we're headed and why we believe we are headed there. Glorified pumpers first of all, pumpers are a completely different category of crypto than what we are and what we bring to this Zoom call. So I'm sorry that you feel that way, but one thing I would tell you is that we believe in the value of this, and people are going to buy the token, and they want to know what the potential of that token is, and that's why I'm going to continue to share it. And I'm sorry that you feel like sharing that our potential of getting to $100 is some way of glorifying us. It's not. It's helping people understand why. I think I make a pretty good case for why. And that's my goal, is to do that. And if you feel like that is not something you're interested in, that's fine. But I think most of the community is really excited about the potential of it. And that's the reason why I bring it out there. Does anybody, like in the Telegram, because I see a few likes, I see 3 people liked your message. And I appreciate that. Listen, it's just another perspective, and your perspective is just fine. I'm not criticizing you for having that perspective, but I'm just trying to help you understand why I do that, because I want people to understand why they're going to want to buy it at 31 cents right now and what the potential really is. Because you might think that we're stuck from 29 to 35 cents. And that's what I call in crypto the consolidation phase. And I told you guys why that is. There's a lot of uncertainty. People are waiting for things to develop. And that's why I'm telling everyone that that's where the opportunity most is. It's not that it's the only opportunity, right? So, I appreciate that. I get why you say that. And I just wanted to kind of give you my answer to that, because I'm aware, believe me, I'm aware of all the pumping ideas, the hype, and all the things that are out there. But what I try to do is I try to bring the facts and the information and our vision of what Sosana is all about to these Zoom calls. And I think it's important for them to see that. I think people should be able to see out way ahead of where we are right now, because otherwise, how do you decide to get really interested in buying it at 31 cents if you don't know or understand what the potential is, And so I just feel like that's part of that potential. And you talk about comparing, it says, I would recommend keeping the focus centered around what we are doing to increase value, no numbers, no competition with other coins. Well, I don't think Sosana has any competition. And I also think that if you look at us from a crypto project perspective, I like to show other successful projects out there what they've done and how, because of what we're doing, why we believe we can have more success. Again, it's just another vision. That's what you got to do. Like, think about it. If you look at a project and you see a project that's doing something that someone else is already doing, you're going to make comparisons. Or if you see a project that's unique, you're going to think, wow, this is really unique. Let me look around the industry to see if there is anyone doing what they're doing. Or how does this compare? I think this has so much more value than what this project has, even though that particular project has had incredible success, right? So that's all I'm trying to do in terms of making those comparisons. Again, it's something I continue. Remember, I always give that disclaimer. I am not giving financial advice, making any income guarantees, or anything like that. I make sure people understand that it's up to them what they want to do. But I think that's my job, isn't it? I mean, I really believe that's the best way to show what our potential really is in the marketplace. And so I think that those two things are two things that I've found a lot of value in. And I think a lot of other people have found that value too. So again, you have every right to your opinion, and that's fine. You have a right to share it. You have a right to think it. But I just thought I would answer that to kind of I hope that kind of helps you understand where I'm coming from and why I do what I do and why Brian does what he does. So I hope that makes sense. Wanted to address that because I'm sure there's other people that think that too, and I want to make sure that we address that. We're as transparent as it comes. I'm seeing some comments and questions. Let's see here. Appreciate that, Kim Snyder. Let's see. I just got this time today. Okay. Money Mitch says, okay, so where's the 3% been going all this time? It's being collected in the Radium pool. It's being collected right now. So it is a mechanism that's being collected. It just has not been dispersed. Question, I just created a new Sosana account. I was not able to create an affiliate link. The button does not work. Yeah, we've had some issues with that. David, I actually put it in with Kapil yesterday, and we're waiting on hearing back from him. He gets up. I think he actually is now up. So we should be hearing back from him very soon about that very issue. Okay, David, so hang in there. Let's see here. I'm just seeing some comments now. Any other questions? Is there anybody that has any questions about anything tonight? About anything at all? T Crypto, here's a question for the crowd's benefit. How will we be able to buy the different projects that we will be voting on? As you know, normally we may have to go to Uniswap or PancakeSwap and use USDT or USDC or use a layer 1 coin like we did for Sosana. Okay, oh, you mean like so how you use Solana? Well, you'll be buying these with Solana, just so you know, because everything that's going to be introduced right now in the voter mechanism is going to be on the Solana network. So it's all going to be through the same methods that you use to buy Sosana. So hopefully that answers that question. What does 8 mean, Don? Okay. 8 means that you actually jump into a project without even thinking about it. Like you see something, it looks exciting. Maybe you just saw the chart, you don't know very much about it, and you just decide to go ahead and roll the dice and throw money into it. That's what 8 means. Let's see here. Yep, Yusef, you're right. And you're welcome, T Crypto. Absolutely. Colby, any other comments about that? I do. Again, I appreciate your perspective. I have no problem with your perspective. I don't agree with it, obviously, because this is the way I've been presenting this to people, to show them what I believe is the potential of Sosana. And I do think that we've done both. I think we've not only grown the excitement as a result of making some comparisons and talking about what the potential is in terms of market cap and price potential, right? But we've also have focused on what we're doing. What is it that makes Sosana so different? You know, I haven't left that out. And so I believe that that's what makes a case for making those comparisons, if that makes sense to people. And I just hope that helps them. My goal, again, is always just to help people see the potential of what we're doing. And I'm doing the best I can to do that. I hope you guys appreciate that. Let's see here. Yeah, and absolutely. And listen, Colby, there's always going to be a lot of different perspectives. You can't make everybody happy. There's always going to be someone or maybe a few people that are just not going to like something, or they're going to say, oh, I don't like how he does this, or I don't like how the program is this way or that way, because that makes us it's impossible to be perfect for everybody, right? And I'm not saying we don't have flaws. We're not perfect, but the bottom line is we are doing the best that we can to make sure that people understand what does make Sosana, so special. Our goal is to throw out the shiny objects, fix the problem of shiny object syndrome, and nothing accomplished. That's the problem. So many investors have done so much investing and getting nothing out of it because they're chasing one shiny object to the next, and it's the biggest problem in crypto. There are people losing money left and right and walking away from crypto because they feel like there's no structure, there's no substance. It's just a bunch of roll the dice gambling, right? And they don't want to feel that way. They want to feel like they can be a part of something where there is a safe haven community where everybody comes together to find quality projects. And we believe that this mechanism is going to solve that problem. Let's see here. Another question. If we are getting into pre-launch tokens, will there be getting the correct contract to those when the time comes? Yeah, you guys are going to see that when the time comes. Of course, you're going to know. What you're going to have an opportunity to do in those pre-launch projects is to actually buy tokens probably before they launch. That's kind of the purpose of it. And so the reward's going to come out in Solana once a month. So the people that participate in that vote are going to go in there. They're going to see KYC verified projects, not just junk tokens that show up and say we're starting a pre-launch. KYC verified projects. And our goal is to bring the most quality projects to that community, to you guys, as we possibly can. You guys vote on it, and the reward gets kicked out in Solana tokens, of which you can take those Solana tokens if you actually did vote for that project, and you can buy that project with those Solana tokens that you get rewarded. And that's going to be powerful. I think everybody's going to want to be a part of that. Yep, Thomas Tucker, we believe Sosana is the solution. Any other questions out there? Anybody? let me reiterate, Colby has a right to his opinion, and I appreciate him for sharing it. No problem. And I hope I helped him. I hope I gave him some insight, maybe, or maybe some perspective. And he, you know, and if he has other people come to him, maybe he can talk to them about that. Maybe that can help him. Anybody else have any other questions at all about anything?
How can
All right.
Kansas go 0-3? Right.
Oh yeah, you had to throw that one in there, huh? I'm not too worried about it. But so anybody have any questions? I'm gonna wrap the call up. This will be. Can you believe it? We are literally right on the cusp of being just 2 weeks old. 2 weeks. Unbelievable, right? Hard to. It's really easy to lose that perspective. It's hard to keep that perspective. To look at us and go, wow, just 2 weeks. Where are we going to be in 2 months? 6 months. I mean, think about that. The V1 airdrop process was discussed. Go back to the recording. I would recommend, PK. We discussed that. Last question. I'm going to look it up here. At one time, Bitcoin was 30 cents, and some saw the vision to $100. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And when they saw it go from 30 cents to $3, they thought they'd arrived. A lot of people probably thought that, right? Anyway, you guys, I hope you can appreciate what I'm saying. You know, and I don't expect everybody to agree with me. That's ridiculous. No one should expect anyone or everyone to agree with them about everything. Okay, I'm not here to please everybody. I can't. I got to be me. I got to talk about this value the way I believe it should be talked about. And you guys can share this opportunity with other people and talk about the value the way you want to share it, and that's okay. They're both. I'll tell you this. Either way, we're going to get there. We're not going to stop coming out here, doing these calls. You guys can keep bringing people to us, and we'll just keep sharing the information and educating people. Well, folks, thank you everyone for coming on the last call of the week. We will see you guys Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to be gone this weekend myself. Sometimes I do, when I'm hanging around on the weekend, sometimes I like to do a little 3 p.m. Saturday call. I like to do that sometimes, but I'm going to be gone this weekend. But I just want to say, everybody, thank you for being here, and we will see you Monday night. And I'm sure there's going to be more information in the Telegram between now and then. We'll see you all again very soon.